Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Not on target. The kick was wide. Used of eyes, fully open or extended. Stared with wide eyes. Far from the intended target. The arrow went wide of the mark. Having great, or a certain, extent from one side to the other. Wide roads. Having ample fabric. The current taste for wide trousers. To or over a great extent or range, far. Wandered wide through many lands. Broad in scope or content. Granted him wide powers. Very large in expanse or scope. The wide plains. Great in degree. Won by a wide margin. Not on target. The arrow was wide of the mark. Used of eyes, fully open or extended. Exhibiting childlike simplicity and credulity. Far from the intended target. A bullet went astray and killed a bystander. Showing or characterized by broad-mindedness. A broad political stance. Having great, or a certain, extent from one side to the other. A river 2 miles broad. Not detailed or specific. A broad rule. Lacking subtlety, obvious. Gave us a broad hint that it was time to leave. Being at a peak or culminating point. Broad daylight. Broad in scope or content. An invention with broad applications. Very large in expanse or scope. A broad lawn. Of speech, heavily and noticeably regional. A broad southern accent. Slang term for a woman. Abroad as a woman who can throw a mean punch. Increase in phase. The time when the moon is fully illuminated. The moon is at the full. To the greatest degree or extent, completely or entirely, full, in this sense is used as a combining form. Fully grown. Constituting the full quantity or extent, complete. Gave full attention. Having the normally expected amount. Gives full measure. Complete in extent or degree and in every particular. A full game. Having ample fabric. A full skirt. Filled to satisfaction with food or drink. A full stomach. Being at a peak or culminating point. Full summer. Beat for the purpose of cleaning and thickening. Full the cloth. Containing as much or as many as is possible or normal. A full glass. Make, a garment, fuller by pleating or gathering. Of sound, having marked deepness and body. Full tones. Having ample fabric. To or over a great extent or range, far. He traveled widely. Broad in scope or content. Across the board pay increases. Broad in scope or content. An all-embracing definition. Broad in scope or content. Broad in scope or content. Bedding that keeps a person warm in bed. Anything that covers. There was a blanket of snow. Broad in scope or content. Blanket sanctions against human rights violators. A layer of lead surrounding the highly reactive core of a nuclear reactor. Cover as if with a blanket. Snow blanketed the fields. Form a blanket-like cover, over. Closely encircling. Encompassing mountain ranges. Broad in scope or content. Large in spatial extent or range or scope or quantity. An extensive Roman settlement in northwest England. Broad in scope or content. Of agriculture. Increasing productivity by using large areas with minimal outlay and labor. Producing wheat under extensive conditions. Including everything visible in one view. A panoptic aerial photograph of the missile base. Broad in scope or content. A panoptic study of Soviet nationality. Of buildings and rooms, having ample space. A spacious ballroom. Very large in expanse or scope. A spacious view. Not accurate. An inaccurate translation. Not sealed or having been unsealed. The opened package lay on the table. Used of mouth or eyes. His mouth slightly opened. Made open or clear. The newly opened road. Of textures, full of small openings or gaps. An open texture. Not defended or capable of being defended. An open city. Possibly accepting or permitting. Open to interpretation. With no protection or shield. Open to the weather. Not sealed or having been unsealed. The letter was already open. Openly straightforward and direct without reserve or secretiveness. An open and trusting nature. Affording free passage or view. Open waters. Start to operate or function or cause to start operating or functioning. Open a business. A clear or unobstructed space or expanse of land or water. Finally broke out of the forest into the open. Ready or willing to receive favorably. Used of mouth or eyes. Keep your eyes open. Spread out or open from a closed or folded state. Open the map. Become available. An opportunity opened up. Afford access to. The door opens to the patio. Open and observable, not secret or hidden. Open ballots. Where the air is unconfined. The concert was held in the open air. Affording unobstructed entrance and exit, not shut or closed. An open door. Become open. The door opened. Information that has become public. All the reports were out in the open. Make available. This opens up new possibilities. Cause to open or to become open. Mary opened the car door. Not brought to a conclusion, subject to further thought. An open question. Accessible to all. Open season. Affording free passage or access. Open drains. A tournament in which both professionals and amateurs may play. Begin or set in action, of meetings, speeches, recitals, etc. He opened the meeting with a long speech. Display the contents of a file or start an application as on a computer. Having no protecting cover or enclosure. An open boat. Make the opening move. Kasparov opened with a standard opening. Not having been filled. The job is still open. Not requiring union membership. An open shop employs non-union workers. Open to or in view of all. An open protest. Ready for business. The stores are open. Set theory, of an interval that contains neither of its endpoints. Without undue constriction as from e.g. tenseness or inhibition. The clarity and resonance of an open tone. Have an opening or passage or outlet. The bedrooms open into the hall. Motion pictures, projected on a screen with much greater width and height. Radiating or as if radiating light. Broad in the beam. A beamy cargo ship. As from an altitude or distance. A bird's eye survey. Of hats, having a broad brim. Of an obscure nature. A deep dark secret. Of darkness, densely dark. A face in deep shadow. To an advanced time. Deep into the night. Difficult to penetrate. Incomprehensible to one of ordinary understanding or knowledge. A deep metaphysical theory. Strong. Intense. Deep purple. A long steep-sided depression in the ocean floor. Having or denoting a low vocal or instrumental range. A deep voice. To a great depth, far down or in. Dived deeply. Exhibiting great cunning, usually with secrecy. Deep political machinations. Extending relatively far inward. A deep border. Having great spatial extension or penetration downward or inward from an outer surface or backward or laterally or outward from a center, sometimes used in combination. A deep well. Intense or extreme. In deep trouble. Large in quantity or size. Deep cuts in the budget. Literary term for an ocean. Denizens of the deep. Marked by depth of thinking. Deep thoughts. Relatively deep or strong, affecting one deeply. A deep breath. Relatively thick from top to bottom. Deep carpets. The central and most intense or profound part. In the deep of night. Very distant in time or space. Deep in the past. With head or back bent low. A deep bow. To a great distance. Penetrated deep into enemy territory. Resembling a fan. As from an altitude or distance. A panoramic view. Ignoring distinctions. Sweeping generalizations. Taking in or moving over, or as if over, a wide area, often used in combination. A sweeping glance. The act of cleaning with a broom. Fairly large in size. An ample waistline. Affording an abundant supply. Had ample food for the party. More than enough in size or scope or capacity. Had ample food for the party. An intensive examination testing a student's proficiency in some special field of knowledge. Broad in scope. A comprehensive survey of world affairs. Including all or everything. Comprehensive coverage. Given or giving freely. Was a big tipper. Very intense. In a big rage. Prodigious. Big spender. In a boastful manner. He talked big all evening. Of animals, fully developed. In an advanced stage of pregnancy. Was big with child. Conspicuous in position or importance. A big figure in the movement. Generous and understanding and tolerant. A heart big enough to hold no grudges. Feeling self-importance. Too big for his britches. Exhibiting self-importance. Big talk. Above average in size or number or quantity or magnitude or extent. Set out for the big city. Loud and firm. A big voice. Marked by intense physical force. A big wind. Significant. Graduation was a big day in his life. On a grand scale. Think big.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.